introduce the 2012 Relay for Life survivor speaker, Mr. Rick Anderson.
Thank you. I want to welcome everybody to the beautiful night for the 2012 Waushara County Relay. And, certainly this is a great time for us to come together and kind of get a little awareness out there about cancer, raise some money to certainly help fight the disease, and probably most importantly, for us to have a chance to help build our community. I think that's the most important thing that comes out of this, is that everybody, whether it's a cancer survivor, a caregiver, somebody who's been touched by cancer, that we come together as a community to fight this together and to make sure that someday cancer is just a word that used to exist and that we don't have to worry about it anymore. The whole idea of having more birthdays for people with cancer, I think, is a noble cause, and I thank everybody for coming out here to do this. I think it's safe to say that everybody here has been touched by cancer in one way or another. I know I certainly have. I just finished my halfway point in my chemotherapy today, and hoping that my voice will hold out, because that's one of the side effects that has been coming with this. And but I guess the whole thing started for me on May 21st. I was down in Nashville at a conference and started having some abdominal pain, and ended up going to the hospital and learned that I suffered a perforated bowel and had to have emergency surgery where they took out 14 inches of my small intestine and told me that during the surgery they found swollen lymph nodes in the back of my abdominal cavity. At that point, I really knew I had cancer. I didn't have to wait 3 days for the oncologist to come and confirm that. I knew because I have celiac disease, which gives me a higher risk of developing lymphoma, which is what I ultimately was diagnosed with. So I just had a feeling, even though I had just run a half marathon the weekend before I perforated my bowel, I was feeling better than I had in 25 years, and suddenly was told I have cancer. So it certainly is a situation where when people say you never know, you really truly never know. After I got back to Wisconsin, I went and found my hematologist at UW, figured out what our course of action was going to be, but then I really started to kind of have to struggle with how I was going to handle this personally, on an emotional level, on a mental level, and I had to decide, do I keep this private, do I fight this by myself, maybe with my family, or do I try to turn this into something more positive? And that's the route I chose. I'm an educator. I work at Mid-State Technical College. I've been teaching for lots of years. And I felt that education was what was going to make this a positive experience for me. Not only educating other people about cancer, but having them help educate me about life topics as well. And so I started a blog, and that's where the name of our team came from, the Cricken Cancer Crew. My blog was called crickencancer.wordpress.com, and I am basically blogging about my experiences, how I'm feeling, and more importantly, how I'm dealing with it. And I've tried to make everything positive, the best I can, because not every day is positive. And there are bad times, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I still have cancer, but for the most part, out of anything bad, you can always make something better. And if you learn to take those opportunities to turn bad days into good days, it makes you feel better. And I know it has helped me, probably helped my family, probably helped my coworkers, my friends. I know it has. received a message this morning on my blog from a former student who I didn't know very well because I didn't teach her. But she told me that her father was encouraged to read my blog because he was himself fighting cancer. And she said that because of the blog, he has changed his outlook. And she, in capital letters, said thank you. That she really felt that it changed his life and the way he was approaching his cancer.